and today we're going to talk about enrollment and degree requirements. My name is Alyssa Chavez, and I am one of the academic case managers with University Advising.
Thanks, Alyssa. My name is Helen Himmer. I'm one of the directors in University Advising. I oversee advising for our College of Engineering and Business, as well as a variety of other things.
Awesome. So one of the questions that we wanted to kind of cover today is, what is academic advising? So all of our students are assigned an academic advisor, and there are a lot of things that academic advisors can help with. First, understanding degree requirements and policies, helping you explore majors and careers. We know some students come in maybe not knowing what they want to pursue as a major, or maybe in their first couple weeks or months at college, they decide maybe there are other options that they'd like to explore a little bit. Connecting to campus resources, of course, enrolling in classes. If you're a student who maybe took any dual enrollment or AP credits or AP exams, we can also help you understand how that transfer credit will apply to your degree. Academic coaching, and more. As academic advisors, we have a lot of training and contacts in other offices. So you can always come to us with a question, and even though we may not have answers about your financial aid or charges on your account, we can definitely always get you in contact to those people to ensure that you have all of your needs met. One thing that can be really helpful is understanding the difference between an academic advisor and a school counselor. So academic advisors are one of many resources at NAU for students, while school counselors are trained mental health professionals. We also, in academic advising, are enrollment guides and can provide academic support, where your school counselor probably completed enrollment on your behalf. Again, we can definitely help with that, but every single semester, you will not be getting enrolled by an advisor. And then we're also available as academic advisors over appointment, office hours, or email, where our school counselors probably took the lead in making appointments and probably led the conversation a little bit more. Our process is a little bit more student-led, asking you, what questions do you have for me, and how do you want your college experience to look? There are some resources for advising that are going to be really helpful, especially as you start your college journey. The first is going to be the academic catalog. This is really helpful for a couple reasons. The first being, if you are unsure what major is the best fit for you, or you're interested in pursuing a minor, this resource is going to show you all of the options at NAU that you can major and minor in. It will also show you the required courses for each plan and course descriptions. So if you're like, maybe I'm interested in mechanical engineering, but I'm not actually really sure what you learn in that major, this is a really great tool to understand what type of coursework you'll be enrolling in for each plan. And then also the snapshot of what you will learn. So I'm going to open that right now together, just so you can kind of get a feel of how to use this resource. So let's say you're interested in finding a major. So we'll do bachelor's. And then if you are a Flag Mountain student, I recommend selecting a campus. And then you'll be able to see all of those majors. So let's say we're interested in chemistry. If we go to the overview, we can see some really important information, such as the highest math required for each major. That's a question we often get in advising, is how much math do I need for this major? So this is a really great resource to help you figure that out. It will also tell you if there is a specific application. So you'll see there's no mention of an application here, but for some of our degrees, such as accounting or nursing, it would tell you right here, application required, yes. And then here's that purpose statement and student learning outcomes. So that way you can get a feel of what the purpose of this degree is and what skills it'll help prepare you for. And then here are all of those classes that you'll have to take. So maybe you're really interested in what this Chem 320 course is. If you click on it, it'll say analytical chemistry, and then you'll be able to read that course description. Another super helpful resource are the progression plans. So these progression plans display what a standard four-year progression looks like. Again, this progression plan is really going to be a guide for you because there are many factors that may change what the progression looks like, such as if you have transfer credit, especially for our math heavy degrees like engineering or even some of our chemistry degrees require a little bit higher math. Your math placement could impact the progression of the degree. But this is a really helpful tool in understanding degree sequencing and helping you understand those prereq orders. So if we go to this link, let's go to engineering. And we'll look at mechanical engineering. So as you'll see, mechanical engineering has a lot of coursework off the bat that requires some math. So math like Calculus 1, Chemistry 151 requires some math prereqs. So as you can see, there's a lot of content, and the order of this degree is pretty strict with those prerequisites. But we could also look at another degree. Let's say we want to look at sociology. And you'll see that this has it has more room for those general studies or liberal studies, more rooms for electives. So there's definitely that coursework peppered in, but there's also more space involved for you to explore other topics or for you to have a little bit more wiggle room with that progression. And then we also have some online advising communities that are resources for you all to use. The first is our YouTube, NAU Academic Advising. This is really helpful because we have many tutorials on there about how to navigate Louis to add classes, drop classes, search for classes. So this can be a really good start if you ever want to make a change to your schedule that can help guide you through that process. We also have an Instagram at NAU Advising where we will also post tutorials and relevant reminders. So we'll post reminders about like the first day of school, the last day to add classes. And then when enrollment for spring gets closer, we'll start posting reminders there. So that can be really helpful to have another line of communication for those important reminders. And then something we're really excited about that is new is we're going to be launching Advising Hub early July. This is going to be a place where you can connect with other first-year students and ask questions, and advisors will be on that platform as well to help answer any of your questions before you come to campus in August. But this platform will also be used throughout the entire year. Again, another way for you to connect with your advisor and get some of those important reminders.
I think I'm gonna take it from here. Thanks, Alyssa. One comment on kind of those resources that Alyssa introduced you to, the catalog and the progression plan. These are two excellent ways to get started. There are other tools that you will learn from your advisor as you start your first semester. And a lot of those tools live in your Louis account. There's ways for us to build personalized progression plans with your JAX planner. There's a way for you to track your pathway to graduation as you get closer to that. But this is a really great way to start. The other nice thing about the catalog of progression plans is those are the two tools that don't require a login. So parents, other members of a student support network, feel free to get in there, learn, poke around. It might help everybody feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the things that they're looking at. So that's really great way to get started. Can you click, Alyssa? Cool. So as Alyssa mentioned, every student's assigned an academic advisor. So the entire time you are here at NAU, you will be assigned an advisor based upon your academic level, based upon the major that you've selected in Lilly, and this person is going to be your guide. And so we are available in many different ways to students. And as Alyssa also mentioned, it is the responsibility of the student to make those appointments, to come to drop-in, to send us an email with your questions. Students can anticipate some outreach from their advisors. If we want to make connection, or we see something that doesn't look right, or we see something that needs to be fixed, or we see something that indicates that student might need more help, they can expect some outreach. But as far as making appointments, the more a student puts into that relationship, the more they show up, the better. All of these things that are listed here, we're available by appointment, drop in, advising office hours. Students can reach out by email, they can reach out by phone. As Alyssa mentioned, the Advising Hub is a brand new online community we're launching in July. That's going to be another way for students to connect. All of this lives on our website. So I might actually take a minute to just, Alyssa, if you don't mind navigating to the nau.edu/advising, I may just actually show everybody how to find it there. So if a student or a family member finds your way to nau.edu/advising, all of these different pieces are there. We keep this updated throughout the year. But if you can navigate to the Talk to an Advisor tab, just kind of hover over that. I'm going to talk about the new admits page in just a minute, but I want to go through those last three: appointments, drop-in hours, and how to contact us. So under appointments, a student can navigate to this page. They can click on the NAU appointment planner button right there, log in with their NAU credentials. It will display for them their assigned academic advisor's calendar. What days are they available? What times are they available? They can literally look through the calendar day to day, choose a day or time that works, and confirm that appointment. You can schedule appointments in person, phone, Zoom. If you're choosing between phone and Zoom, please choose Zoom. It is such a better experience for students as we can share our screen with you. This appointment planner is something that you will be using throughout your entire time here at NAU, including scheduling that initial advising appointment I'll talk about in a second. If you can hover, Alyssa, over the drop-in hours, we're actually in the process of redesigning this page, so it'll be a little bit easier to use in the fall. But for right now, Alyssa, if you can click on the weekly drop-in advising, every single one of our teams hosts drop-in hours every single week, year-round, summer, winter. Unless the university is closed, we have these available. So if you can open up the first year advising accordion, just to give you guys an example, for first year students, our advisors have specific office hours. So every week they host their own personal Zoom office hours, and a student can click on that sheet there to see their advisor's name, their Zoom link, their contact information, and anything they might need to access those hours. There's also general drop-in advising. In the summer, it's just over Zoom because you guys aren't here. And so on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's Zoom drop-in available where we have at least 8 advisors just there waiting to answer your questions, waiting to help you. And so that's a really excellent resource. As we get into the fall, we also add a lot of in-person drop-in that will be happening as well. But all of those days and times is always updated on this page. So this is a really helpful page. The last one is the Contact Us page. There's a great video in here if you have a second to watch it afterwards, by one of our advisors, Ja, that just kind of describes what an advisor is. How do you find your advisor's name? How do you contact them? It's a really quick video. And then down below, we have the University Advising Directory. And here you can look at the contact information. So Alyssa, can you click on that? And why don't you search for my name, Alyssa? I'm just gonna get everybody my phone number. So here you could search for my name and you can find my email, my phone number, as well as my location on campus as well. So a really great way to find details about our advising team in there. Thanks, Alyssa. If you want to just hop to the next slide. Great. So a couple other things that we think are really important for you to know about right now. One of them is the registrar's office. So the registrar's office is basically the office on campus that sets all of the calendars. When do we enroll? When do we add classes? When do we drop classes? What classes can I enroll in, right? They are the engine that is churning away behind the scenes constantly for NAU to make all of these things possible for our students. It's also the place where you can find all of the up-to-date calendars. What's the last day to add or drop classes? What's the last day for a refund? When are midterms? When are final grades? When is the holiday for Thanksgiving so I can buy my plane tickets and come home, right? All of that information lives here. Do you mind clicking on the important dates and deadlines, Alyssa? I just want to show you all what this looks like. If you navigate, actually, Alyssa, could we go back a level and show them from the registrar's page maybe? Do you mind? I just realized. So again, the really good trick if you're trying to find something at NAU, just put NAU registrar and you will find it. This is their homepage, and up there at the top, you'll see the important dates and deadlines along the calendar. There's a lot of different deadlines here and different calendars you could explore and play around with and get more comfortable with. But for 24-25 fall, let's just start with the academic calendar. And so here you can see all of the events along the left-hand side. When is scholarships dispersing? When is tuition due? When are payments due? You can see the start date. So payments are due August 19th, but then it kind of continues. And then they have that for all the different sessions. When is the last day to add? When is the last day to drop? When is the last day to drop with 100% tuition refund? One thing I want to point out that can be a little confusing about this is that event that says session begin date. Most of the classes you're going to take as an incoming freshman will be in that first column, 16-week classes. That means they're going to start in August and they're going to end in December, and you're going to take those classes all the way through. However, we do offer classes in a variety of sessions. This is more common for students at our statewide campuses or some of our transfer students, but you might take one of these as a freshman. So you'll notice first 5 weeks. That's a class that only runs the first 5 weeks of the semester. So you only do it then, you get your grade at the end of the 5 weeks and you're done. And you'll see the same thing, second 5 weeks, third 5 weeks, first 7.5 weeks, right? And then because of that deadline, it changes the dates to add and drop and swap and some of those different deadlines. So I know this looks really overwhelming to look at. Take some time, try to digest it. If you have questions about it or things that don't feel clear to you as they're relevant to your particular situation, this would be a great question to bring to your advising appointment when you meet with your advisor. The last thing I want to kind of talk about real quick. So Alyssa and I've sort of mentioned, here's some tools you can use to track your progress. Here's some resources available to you. Well, what do I do right now? Maybe you're out there and you're like, I don't have any classes and I haven't started. I haven't met my advisor. What do I do? So I'm going to walk you all through this. NAU.edu/new student advising takes you all directly to that new admits page that we hovered over on our website. Because you're a new incoming student and this is all brand new to you, we have a very set process that we love our incoming students to take in the summer. This gives us an opportunity to give you all more guidance and to help you more. So for example, step 1, priority enrollment. This is an online profile that we ask every student to submit to their academic advisor, letting them know, here's my major, here's my transfer credit, here's my scheduling issues. if you submit this profile, your advisor will actually build a preliminary schedule for you. You are giving us permission by submitting that profile to say, yeah, I want a schedule and I need help. And we will take that information and get that schedule going for you. If you don't submit priority enrollment and just move to step 3 and schedule your advising appointment, that's okay. Students do that, but that schedule will not get built until after that advising appointment. We do need to have a student's permission to enroll them in classes. So please start with priority enrollment if you haven't done it. It can take about 10 minutes. We do ask for a lot of details about dual enrollment and AP test scores. So definitely make sure you have that information available. Step 2 are our online modules. These are built by advisors. They are in Google. So again, students can go through them, parents, other family members who may want to learn more. It goes into a little bit more depth about some of the things Alyssa and I have talked about here. So a little more detail on progression plans, a little more detail about how to enroll in classes yourself, if that's something you would like to try on your own and follow up. So that's the other thing too. If you're out there and you're like, actually, I'd like to build my own schedule, that's great. Go through the module, go for it. Get out there, put some classes out there, and then follow up with your advisor after that. Step 3 is your advising appointment. This is critically important. Even if you did priority enrollment, if you have classes, please schedule a 30-minute appointment. This allows us to confirm your transfer credit, finalize your schedule, and prepare. Some students who do not make and attend that first appointment might start classes in the fall with a class on their schedule they already have credit for, or something that isn't an interest of them. And that's not how we want anybody to start their career. There's a link to that online appointment planner that I mentioned as well. So super easy to get in there and schedule an appointment. There is some information just a little bit further down on technical support. All NAU students are given an NAU Zoom account. We do recommend that you get that set up. You have your email set up prior to this appointment. You will get an email confirmation from the system to your NAU email with all the information you need, the Zoom link. So just make sure you have those technical pieces set up as well, so it feels really smooth for you. If you have already done your appointment and you're like, actually, I just have some follow-up questions or I want to make changes, that's where those drop-in advising appointments that we mentioned earlier are phenomenal. So you can see a link to that right there. Alyssa, if you could scroll down just a little bit. So that's kind of our 3-step process. If you haven't started it, please get started. Or if you're somewhere in that process, please hop back in and get that appointment scheduled. Couple other things to consider that can impact your enrollment, as Alyssa mentioned. One of them is transferring credits to NAU. If you have dual enrollment, if you have taken AP test scores or you are waiting for your AP test scores, the sooner you get those transcripts to NAU and to your advisor, the better. I want to explain a little bit about unofficial versus official transcripts. So an official transcript is something that would come from the community college where you earned the dual enrollment credit, and it would go directly to NAU, sometimes through parchment, sometimes the community colleges send that themselves. It doesn't pass through you. However, you can get unofficial copies. You can log into your account with the community college and download it. You can contact them and ask them to send you a copy. Academic advisors can use unofficial transcripts to review your credit, to use it to override you into other courses, and to get your credit posted faster. So please make sure you get those unofficial copies of test scores and transcripts in hand when you meet your advisors, so we have all of that information. Lastly, if you have not already submitted your MMR vaccination records, please make sure you do that. There is a hold on your account that will block enrollment until that is done. Our academic advisors are able to override that for an initial enrollment. But the sooner you get that done, the sooner the students are able to do that themselves. That's a little bit about kind of some of the immediate steps that you might want to be thinking about: transcripts, MMR vaccination, and getting on those advising steps as well. So I think we'd love to open it up to questions that any of you all may have for Alyssa and I. It could be about content that you've seen here, you'd like clarification on. It could be about something we didn't mention that you've heard or you've seen and you want clarification on, or anything else that we can do to help you all move forward, feel more comfortable and more excited to start your academic journey with NAU. And I think, Kristen, are you on the chat? Are we supposed to do that? Sorry.
No, I am on the chat and I have not seen a question yet. I'll let you know if I see one.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Of course.
Alyssa, anything else you feel like we need to add in that we may have forgotten about?
I think we covered most of the main points. I'll also say as well that advising appointment is also super helpful. If you're like, if you submitted your priority enrollment and you're like, I don't know why I'm enrolled in these classes, it's a chance for you to have a dialogue with your advisor to understand why you're enrolled in what. And then again, a space where you can make changes that maybe fit your preference. The more descriptive you can be in your priority enrollment profile, the more tailored your schedule will be for you as well. So sometimes we have students that don't write any comments or questions, and so we'll just kind of go in. But sometimes students will say something like, I want to try and have evening classes or morning classes. And so your advisor can try and tailor your schedule to your preferences, depending on class availability. Sometimes some classes are only offered in the morning or only offered at night, but they will do their best with the availability to make that schedule to your preferences. So don't be afraid to ask for those sorts of things in your profile. That's super helpful for us.
That's such a great point, Alyssa. And I think it just signals to, generally speaking, like the more you share with your advisor, the more your advisor can help you. Right? We will ask some very specific questions, but there may be a lot of things we don't know, and there's so many options available. So one of the questions in the chat is, do you keep the same advisor all 4 years? Generally speaking, no. Generally speaking, there is a first-year team of advisors at NAU who are generalists, and they are specifically trained to work with first-year students and help you get off to a really strong start with your major, or maybe explore other majors, get connected to resources, campuses, learn how to use all of the tools. That's who you'll work with for your first year. And then after your first year, you'll transition over to working with one of our upper division advisors who are more specialized in particular majors. So for example, if you're working with Brian, he's one of our first year advisors that works with a lot of different students in our Stephens College. And then once you're ready to go, you might move over to Morgan, who's somebody else who's a part of that team and works very specifically with math and physics and helps see students all the way through. There are some pockets where some of our teams are experimenting with 4-year advisor assignments. Actually, we are always innovating over here in advising. So a handful of you may start with that advisor and see that person all the way through, but that's just in small pockets right now where we're experimenting. The other question, I paid for my official transcript to be sent. How do I know if it made it to NAU? There's a few different ways. The most direct way would be for you to email directly to Doc Imaging, DOCIMAGING, all one word, Doc Imaging, at nau.edu. They will be able to tell you if your official transcript has been received. This is also something an academic advisor can help you chase down. Sometimes we may have received the official, but maybe it's not posted. And sometimes advisors can go in with our advisor powers and we can see it and we can help move it along and get it posted as well. It's not unusual at this point in the game that official transcripts are still coming through and are still posting. That will happen the entire summer. And so that's also another reason why please gather those unofficial copies, because while we wait for that to process, we don't want that to hold up the work you want to do with your advisor. What credits will I have? How can I get enrolled? We want to make sure that you're able to do all of that. I am in the honors college. Do I need to meet with honors? Will freshman advisor know how to advise me for honors classes? That's such a great question. Thank you. So everybody in university advising, all of our advisors are honors advisors. There are not separate academic advisors in the honors college. There are incredible folks over there that we are super collaborative with, lovely faculty who are going to be an excellent resource. But yes, meeting with your first year advisor and then your upper division advisor, they will be able to help you incorporate honors curriculum into your program and into your plan. Great question. I'm glad you asked it. We didn't even talk about honors.
In the drop-in too, there are also additional drop-in hours for honor student in the honors college. So no, that is an opportunity as well.
Great add, Alyssa. Thank you. Any other questions? With the additional drop-in with honors, be with my freshman advisor. So the in-person honors drop-in hours are a variety of different advisors. So it could be any one of our freshman advisors. We usually have about 10 of our freshman advisors who have shifts over there every single week. We kind of have a little rotation of people who spend some time over there every day. So it may not be your advisor. However, if that feels important to you to meet with your advisor, which I totally get, you can see that in the appointment planner. You can ask your advisor, hey, are you going to be doing hours in the honors college? You also can utilize those office hours that we talked about as well. If you want to make sure that you meet with your specific academic advisor, the best way to get that would be through the appointment planner and just to talk to them directly.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and kind of with all of our drop-in hours as well. Your specific advisor may be helping staff that event, or maybe not. So that's standard for the honors college drop-in advisors, and then those regular weekly drop-in advisors. But again, same with honors college, you'll be able to go into the appointment scheduler and see if your advisor will be at those advising drop-in hours. If that does feel like a priority for you to continuously see your specific advisor.
Yeah. And just to say it out loud too, it's also okay for you to see any of the advisors. So if you just show up to a drop-in session and your advisor isn't available, but Alyssa's available or somebody else is available, that's okay. Those first year folks are generalists and are prepared to be able to advise for other areas. And if they need to follow up with your advisor, or you need to, that can happen, but you're also really free to meet with anybody. Great questions. Anything else? I wish you could like see people typing, you know, like, and I would know someone was typing, it just appears. Okay, well, if you think of any other questions, I hope that you find yourself to our website. It should give you all the information you need to take a step forward, connect with your advisor. If you think of more questions, jot them down, follow up with your advisor. You can find Alyssa or I in the directory, and we're happy to answer questions. We also have a main email, universityadvising@nau.edu, that are amazing, amazing front desk staff answer those emails generally within 24 hours. They're really incredible. So any of those ways, happy to continue the conversation, and thanks for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Helen and Alyssa, so much. Again, we will also be adding this to our YouTube channel. So if you missed anything or need to go back and re-listen to something that either one of these amazing advisors said, you will have that opportunity. It should be posted pretty shortly here. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. But thank you so much for attending this webinar, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thanks, Kirsten.